Hey guys, welcome. I'm going to try to walk you through a little bit of Keepers Dissension Unchained. I'm going to try to keep this video around the 5-minute mark, but if we go a little longer, I apologize. There's a lot to go through. It's a fun, intense strategy game. So I'm hopeful that you can follow along and then, yeah, start mastering it and surprise us with what kind of new strategies you come up with. To get started, we're going to hop in the play button. I'm going to hit practice so we can hop in with a practice bot. We're going to pick the faction Snowfolk. You can scroll around to see what kind of army you're going to have. This is all cosmetic, does not affect what you have options as far as the game goes, so do not worry about that too much. I'm going to confirm that. These options I'm going to leave alone, and my bot difficulty will stay medium. You can give personalities to the bot you play with, timers, and get your game modes here, but we can talk about that later. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the sandbox mode so I have all the options to show you, and I'm going to hit confirm. The game will get started. Now, first thing it's going to start with is going to ask me if I've played before. Do I want to use my last setup? For this case, I'm going to say no. I'm going to show you what you do for your first setup playing the game. Now, the game's going to ask you where you want to place your keeper. Now, the keeper represents you. So if I'm going to go ahead and pick on the side of my life force, this side, and that guy represents me. We'll go into the details of the warriors, but just so you know, the keeper is the most valuable player on the game. Okay, now it's going to ask me to place my minions. I'm going to place a minion here, and then I'm going to be able to choose which minion I want. Now, each of these minions have different abilities. You can flip them around and see, like this bomber, he can explode when he's killed, or he can place bombs. You got passives that happen automatically, so if he dies, he immediately blows up. An active means he can use an action to place a bomb. We'll go into that some more, but all these minions have their own cool abilities. Like this guy is a defensive guy, he's got armor. You got this mage who's more of a support guy. So there's a lot there. I won't go into this video, but you can go ahead and choose which ones you want and for the kind of style you want. Now I'm going to go ahead and just randomly pick this. My robot will pick that one. I'm going to pick a mage. Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and pick an ogre. Now, while I'm picking these, one thing to notice is that life force and that guardian got automatically placed by the game. And that is because those will always start out at the beginning of the game in the center. Here's asking me which Keeper Ultimate I want. A Keeper Ultimate is a special ability that your Keeper gets. I'm going to go ahead and pick Freeze. We'll get into this a little bit later. And then what wall effect I want. I'm going to pick Freeze as well. If you wanted to see what kind of information there is on the guy, you can hit the info there. All right, so after choosing that, it's going to let me know what my opponent picked, and they picked the Command Ultimate and the Heal Wall. All right, so immediately the first turn begins, and it says I've got 3 actions. Before we get too far into that, I want to talk about your Keeper and who that represents. So like I said, the Keeper represents you. If I hold down on that card, it zooms it up. I can flip them around. It's going to give me a little bit of lore flair here, and then it's going to tell me about my ultimate. This is the ultimate I picked. I can only use this ultimate 1 time per game. So if I want at any point, I can use my ultimate, and that'll let me freeze my enemies, so all their movement will be restricted for 1 turn. Highly valuable, the ultimate, but remember, you only get 1 time to use it. You'll see this little orange mark down here that represents your ultimate still available to you, as well as your opponent. Now, if I wanted to see what my opponent's ultimate is, we already got that notification that told me what he picked, but I can zoom up on him, flip him around, and say, oh yeah, he picked Command. Good to know. And I can also see down here that he hasn't used it yet. All right, so the reason your keeper represents you and is the most valuable, you'll see he's got these health marks. You got 5 on him, then your life force, which is this card here, it's got 15, and then this big dude who's chained up is your guardian's got 10. Those are my life health marks for these guys. The rest of the minions all have 1 health point, so that's why it doesn't really represent on them. If I hold down on the bomber, it's going to show you he's got 1 HP. What are the rest of these? Well, this is 1 speed, 1 range, 1 damage, 1 HP. We can go into that here in a second, but I want to first hit on the keeper. This keeper represents you. You're able to move him around for a normal warrior action, but if he dies 3 times, it's game over. If he dies, he respawns, and what happens is this life force will be reduced by 5 points. If this life force is reduced down to 0, game over as well. These two are intricately tied. So if your keeper dies and respawns 3 times, this will be reduced to 0. Or if someone just hits on this life force 1 at a time or however many times, you'll die also. So you are wanting to protect your life force. The way the game ends is if a life force is depleted to 0. So pretty much to sum up the game right there is kill your opponent's life force. If both of your life forces are at 15, the first player to destroy the others wins. Now, we've just showed you the setup. I want to talk a little bit about the Guardian. This Guardian is able to move around left or right, or even down below the life force. So he's chained up in a 1 space radius around the life force. However, you can collect something what's called strange matter. See this little button, collect strange matter? That's the money in this game, the resource, if you will. If I collect 20 of that, I can unchain my guardian. He gets flipped around, and he'll be able to roam super quick. So like a queen in chess is super quick and fast and hard hitting, that's this guy. If I zoom up on him, you'll see that he's got 3 damage. That is how much damage he gives to another warrior when he attacks. He's the hardest hitting guy as of now. Now, there are some ability cards we'll look at later, these keeper ability cards, that can make your keeper super powerful. But at the beginning, he only has 1 damage. He has 1 speed, 1 range, 1 damage, 5 HP. What do these mean? 1 speed is per action of the game, I can move 1 space if I've got 1 speed. So I've got these 3 actions. Let's go ahead and move 1 time. This one down to 2. Now I'm able to move 1 space per speed. Now you're going to see that some warriors will eventually have 2 speed to them. So let's see this guy. If I flip him around, if you unchain your guardian, you have 2 speed per action. That means he's moving pretty quick. He can move up to six spaces per turn. All right. Now this other option here, we've got this stat that says range. That means how far away he can attack. So if I go ahead and hit this guy and I hit this fist here, which means I want to attack somebody, I see these green spots that I can attack. I can attack myself. That's hilarious, but it is possible, and there's actually a strategy to that. And then you can also attack a guy adjacent to me. Now, excuse me, I can only attack in the direction that I can move. So I can only attack orthodontically with this keeper, but the scout, if I move him up and I try to attack, he can attack diagonally. Why is that, you ask? Well, if I look at his abilities, he has this cool one called Strafe, and it's a passive. He's able to move and attack diagonally. So you might ask, well, that's lame. My keeper can't do that, but my scout can. Hold on. The keeper can get almost everything that's possible in this game eventually. And that's a thing called these keeper ability cards. So there's 70 unique keeper ability cards that you're able to purchase throughout the game. Now, depending on what game mode you're in, there's chaotic and calculated. You may not have all 70 available to you, but you play enough games, you'll be able to see a rotation of all 70, and there's some awesome ability cards in there. Now, they're not available to you immediately. The only ones that are immediately available to Keeper is that Ultimate that we talked about. But we'll go through that a little bit more later. Now, I want to talk about unchaining your guardian real quick and how we get that strange matter that we talked about. You have these certain actions, and you can use an action to either collect strange matter, you can move around, you can attack, or you can use an ability card. Let's collect some strange matter and show you what we can purchase. So I'm going to go ahead and just cheat here. I'm going to go ahead and hit unlimited actions to make myself back to 3 turns so it doesn't make the bot move around because I don't really have time for that for you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and give myself some strange matter just to go quick. But before I do that, if I use my actions here, I can click this collect strange matter and it gives me 1 strange matter. If I turn off these unlimited actions, every time I click that guy, my actions go down and my strange matter goes up. Just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and give myself a ton of strange matter by hitting that add matter. And this is in the sandbox mode. And now I have 23. Well, that's perfect because I need 20 to unchange my guardian. Let's go to the shop button and show you that. This is the shop and what's available to you to buy. So now this is outside of my abilities. We'll go into that some more, but I can see how much I have currently in my reserves and what's available to me. So I can pay 20 to unchain my guardian. I can buy a wall for 5, or I can buy these other minions that I didn't select at the beginning of the game. So if I wanted to buy a minion, I could pay 10. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to pay 10, and I'm going to place this sniper here. Oh, look at that. I've got another minion. Oh, he's got this little fuzzy on him. What does that mean? Oh, so when I buy a minion, he's got summoning sickness. He's not usable for that immediate turn till the following. And now let's say I wanted the next minion. Let's go ahead and buy that sucker. And a block here. Okay. So I'm going to place him. Now look at that. I've got all 7 minions. At the beginning of the game, you can only pick 5. But if you have enough money, you can pay for all 7. Now you'll see in the shop, there's no more minions until one dies. Let's go ahead and kill a sucker. If I killed this guy, just with my friendly fire, he dies. I go to the shop. Oh, look, sniper's back. So that's kind of how that rotation works with your assembly. Your assembly is going to be the minions that are available to you that have not been on the field yet. Now let's go ahead and say I want to buy a wall. All right, I need some more strange matter, don't I? So I'm going to collect some. You'll see my actions aren't going down. That's because I got this cheat mode on. But now I've got enough to buy a wall. I'm going to go ahead and buy a wall. I can put one anywhere in the game that's available, an unoccupied space, if you will. Let's say I wanted to block in the keeper. Now look, I got a different wall than my opponent. If you wanted to see what your opponent's special wall effect is, that wall effect we picked at the beginning of the game, you'll see he picked heal wall. So every time this wall is destroyed, That warrior, that one who destroyed it, gets 1 HP. What do mine do? I think I had freeze, right? So if anyone destroys this wall, they get stunned for a move. We can get into that more, and there's going to be a lot of intricacies there, but that's just a quick one, and it's pretty cool. I can build a wall anywhere. Now, it's not going to be hard for this guy to bust this wall through, but he's going to have a consequence, right? That wall effect. Now, real quick, I'm going to unchain my guardian. So I can either go to shop to unchain it with 20, or I can hold on long press on this guy and flip him around to see his unchain and just select him, hit reverse, and hit this unchain button here. I don't have enough strange matter to do that right now, so I'm going to go ahead and cheat, add some strange matter. Obviously, in a real game, you have to grind out your actions and kind of weigh them if you want to use that much time to get strange matter. But here I'm going to go ahead and select him, flip him around, and hit unchain. He's going to have this cool little animation, super cool, right? Now, it's pretty basic, but right now we're still working on the animations. But now he's unchained. Now when I select him, he's able to move 2 spaces for that one action. We talked about that. So I'm able to move him 2 spaces, and there we go. He can move very quickly. Now, we talked about abilities. Let's go into that a little bit more. I can go to the shared hand or my private hand, and I can buy an ability card. Depending on which game mode you're in, if you're in, say, chaotic or calculated, that's going to differ of what these look like. In Sandbox, all the cards are available in shared hands, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. Now, if I'm a keeper, I have to have 5 strange matter to buy an ability card. You'll notice there's kind of this blocker over them right now, but if you kind of see behind it, there's this event category, a 1cc, and a passive. Let's go ahead and buy one and show you what that looks like. I'm going to get myself some more strange matter. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and typically I wouldn't have that many actions, but since I've got the cheat on, it's letting me. I'm going to go ahead and buy armor. So I'm going to confirm that. This sucker comes into this ability row, and you'll see it's glowing. Now, my keeper has armor. So if I hold on this card, it explains what it does. It's a passive, which means it's always occurring. Here's the title, armor. My keeper ignores 1 damage per turn. So, if I have friendly fire, let's move this guy up. He attacks me for this turn. Boom. He hits me. I didn't lose any health. That's perfect. But if he hits me again in that same turn, I'm going to take damage because I already exhausted my armor. So I only get to ignore 1 damage per turn. Okay. Well, that's cool, but what are those? I saw those 1cc's. What do those do? I want to go to my shared hand. Ambush. Let's pick this guy. Oh, I need some strange matter. Let's go ahead and get myself a ton. Perfect. Let's go ahead and buy ambush. All right, you'll notice when I bought ambush, it's available on this ability row, but it's not glowing because I haven't used it yet. In order to use it, I gotta click it for it and have an action. And so, are you sure you want to activate ambush? Oh yeah, I do. Now it's glowing here in this cooldown field. Okay, that's cool. The 1cc means 1 card cooldown. So in order to use this card again, I got to have another card on top of it. So it's sitting here waiting to be, I guess, cooled down, if you will, and it comes back in my ability row. But you'll see it's glowing. What does this card do? Any subsequent attack by any of your warriors does not result in a response from an enemy warrior. So in other words, in this game, you have response actions. So if I attack someone and they survive, they get a response action. But right now, with ambush activated, my enemy doesn't get a response action. And that's a little more advanced stuff. We'll get into that later. But that's what the cool part about this cooldown field, and it's glowing. It lets you know it's actually active. Now let's go ahead and exhaust that move. So I'm going to fly over here. And now the Scalar's got this cool move called Leapfrog. It's an active. He can jump over obstacles. So I'm going to jump over this wall. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to attack. And you'll notice when I do that, ambush was activated and used up. Oh, but it's not glowing anymore, and I can't actually use it anymore. I can't bring it back. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to need another CC card on top of it. Let's go find one. We got blood equity we could buy. Blood for blood. Let's find a cooler one here. Compromise. Heal life forces and warriors by 3. I like that one. Let's confirm that. I spent 5 strange matter to buy that. It's sitting in my ability row, ready to be used. Let's give some damage to my life force just for the fun of it to show you how this sucker works. So I'm going to go ahead, hit this guy. So I hit my own life force. Again, why would you do that? Well, sometimes there might be reasons. I'm going to heal life forces and warriors by 3. So I'm going to need this CC card to get this one back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Compromise. Look at that. It filled up my life force, and now it's sitting on top of this 1cc. If I click it, I'm able to bring this guy back because there's one card on top of it. See, one of one cards on top. This guy's available to come back to me. Compromise has nobody on top of it. Bring this guy back. Hey, I can use ambush again. But compromise, it's a 2cc. It needs two cards on top of it. So if I go ahead and if I use the 1cc ambush, again, it's being activated. And now compromise has one card on top. I need another CC card purchased and used in order to get compromise back. That just reflects that a 2cc is a little bit more powerful than 1cc typically. Now there are 3cc's in here, like blood for blood. You see that 3cc, which means it's pretty tough, pretty powerful, and hard to get back. You're going to need at least 3 other card cooldown cards on top of it in order to make that available again. Cool. Now let's talk about the other categories of keeper ability cards. We're going to go in here and see the event. If I buy event, the moment I buy it, it only happens once. So an event card will glow for a second, it'll do its thing, and then it'll stop glowing. Event cards only happen once. That's it. They're done. They sit in this ability row, and that's it. Keep in mind, you can only have 7 ability cards purchased ever. So if I buy 7, that's it. I can't buy any more. That's my arsenal. That's what I'm dealing with the whole game. There are going to be some games I never buy ability cards. Some players just want to use the board and move their warriors around. That's fine. Some players are very heavy on the ability cards. How you get your deck building capabilities is going to be dependent on the game mode. And we'll get into that in some other video. Alright, so we've got passives, we've got events, we've got CC cards. The last one is that active that we saw already for like the mage. Let's see if we can find that. I'm going to go look for stun. I'm going to use this here. Da, da, da. All right, if I can get to it. There's an active. So we got stun here. I'm going to go ahead and purchase that. Now, stun is glowing all the time. It's always available to me, but in order to use it, I got to click it and I got to use an action to make it work. So let's go ahead and use this guy. And you'll see I have these abilities next to my keeper. That's my ultimate here. And this is that stun ability. That's going to use an action in order to use it. So passives don't use any actives, or actions I should say, because they're passive. So I'm always got armor on top of me. It doesn't cost me an action to use. But to use stun, which within 2 range I can immobilize another warrior, I have to use an action because it's an active. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to hit this new icon that appeared. Are you sure that you want to use the stun ability? Yes, I do. And I can stun my own scout. He's got this little fuzzy on him. It says he's unable to move this turn. That cost me an action. Let's go ahead and turn off the cheats. And you'll see that happen again. I'll go ahead and end my turn. I'll let the robot do its thing. He's going to do some moves here. He's going to move around. And then I'm going to show you how an active exhausts one of my actions. So I'm going to hit this guy again. Hit that stun icon. Use it on my opponent, or my own guy. And look, it used an action. Perfect. So that's kind of a rundown of the ability cards. Pretty cool, pretty awesome. 7 ability cards can either make your keeper Superman, or it can affect and change the rules of the game. One last thing that I want to hit on is when you are using your shop, it affects this economy. You'll notice that every time I purchase something, this economy, this center button grew. That's a shared economy that both players tap out of. So if I collect some strange matter, 1, it'll say 21, and that took out of the economy. This is a huge economy now because I've been cheating and adding a ton of strange matter. But typically at the beginning of a game, there's only 20 that starts in here, and both of you and your opponent have 0 in your reserves, it's called. Once you start collecting strange matter, you keep it in your reserves and it drains the economy. But once you purchase something, it goes back into the economy where your opponent can now have access to it as well. A really cool thing, if I have a ton of money in my reserves and my keeper dies or my opponent keeper dies, the reserves hits the ground and it's called loot. You might have noticed when I killed guys, there is this little icon that hits the ground and says 2. That's strange matter in an icon form. That means, let's go ahead and walk over one. I'm going to have my block, let's go ahead and turn on unlimited actions. I'm going to have my blockader move over here. He can pick up that strange matter and hold on to it. And he can also give it to my keeper. So if I click him and I touch the keeper and say transfer loot, I just gave it to my keeper. When the keeper holds on to strange matter, it goes straight to your reserves. Now, if your opponent has to have, say their goal is to unchain a guardian, you can try to choke out this economy to stop them from either buying ability cards or unchaining their guardian. Because say this is at 0 and I wanted to purchase an ability, but I don't want to give my opponent the chance to take from the economy. I might not be able to purchase an ability. I might hold off on that just to keep them from purchasing something. There's a lot of strategy there, and you'll have to play the game to kind of understand how that works, but it's a really cool feature of Keeper's Ascension. So yeah, we kind of ran down our super quick, but that's the basics of the game. You can pick up loot when an opponent dies. So if minions die, they leave 2 strange matter on the ground. If a guardian dies, he leaves 10 on the ground. And if a keeper dies, he leaves 5 plus anything they're holding in their reserves. That's the basic explanation of Keeper's Dissension. There's a lot more there, but I hope you can dive into it, play a little bit, and then yeah, there'll be more tutorial videos, more advanced rules, and I'm sure you guys will even find crazy new strategies as you play and master this game. And I hope you have a blast. Thanks for watching.